Hi guys, welcome back to AFTV and a brand new show called Full Time. Here with Pippa.
What's happening?
Quite a lot's going on.
Well, the opposite, to be fair.
This football club achieved nothing in 3 months.
Nothing in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years.
They achieved nothing in 3 months. And yeah, the rest, you're right, 3, 4 years. However long, however far back you want to go to a point at which this club was performing somewhat acceptably. Guys, welcome to Full Time. This is a brand new show, kind of like the aftermath.
Yeah.
You used to be on it all the time.
I know.
Basically, send in your videos. The phone number was on the watch along. You find in the description as well. Send in your videos, voice notes, and we're going to play them here. We're going to react to them. You get to have your say.
Yeah.
And wherever you are in the world, let us know how you're feeling about that absolutely disgraceful performance from Arsenal. Let's go into some numbers before we really break it down, because you've been having your say on the watch along, so I imagine you're quite exhausted.
No, I'm drained. Yeah, it's only game one, and I'm drained.
I'm drained already. Let's go through some full-time stats. We had 65% possession, yay.
Really?
We had 22 shots, 4 of them were on target. We had 18 of them off target, obviously. And we had 5 corners in that game, and I think Martinelli, to be fair, should have scored from one.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I've never known a team to have, double the amount of possession of the other team, 22 shots on goal.
I don't remember them.
Right, and yet still be so toothless.
I don't remember any of those shots, to be fair.
I have to say...
or hardly any, most of them.
Those are the kind of stats that Mikel Arteta will use as his... Yeah, see, we were unlucky. Look how unfortunate we were.
Yeah, and then their goal, the ball was off, came out of play. I'm sure he'll mention that in the post-match. It's probably happening now.
Well, it's a long throw. They're difficult to do. Yeah. I'm sure we'll hear it all. On a day where Aubameyang was ill, Lacazette was also ill.
Not forgetting Runnison. Not though he would have played anyway.
Was he? Right, so I didn't even clock on that one.
Game.
Okay, there you go. Willian. I'm not saying that, but what is going on? Turkish made a great point of the watch-along. Torreira's in Madrid. He just apparently posted something on social media about
something.
Right, so he's not. I mean, I've got to say, the whole thing is an absolute joke. We're not going to lose our heads over this. We're going to try and...
I am.
Fair enough. We're going to try and somewhat break it down. We're going to hear what you guys have to say.
It'll be interesting to hear what the fans have to say, because I'm pretty sure unanimously around the world, no matter where you watch this game, I'm pretty sure 99.9% of Arsenal fans are feeling the same.
Yeah,
it's not the way to start the season, because everyone, there was a huge proportion of fans, not just Arsenal, football fans in general, that had this whole fairy tale thing. Brentford's first game of the season, they've got Arsenal are a joke, they could go and win it. It's happened. The fairy tale has happened. We've seen how Brentford has celebrated after the game like they've just won the league, because it's a big deal for them to start their season like that. Yeah,
in the Premier League. I mean, firstly, and I don't like doing this, but let's congratulate Brentford.
Yeah, what a way to arrive.
Yeah, I said something I think it was on a live stream on Instagram. I said, I think Brentford will do really well in this game and will do well in the season, not because they're plucky Brentford who have, the nice stadium and the loud crowd and they'll scrape. No, I think they're a very good football team. Yeah. And I thought Brian Mbemo, for example, was that his name? Brian? Yeah. Mbemo looked I knew he looked quality in the Championship. I follow Brentford quite a lot. They're actually not my local club, but not far. But Mbemo, you could tell, a very good player. Ivan Toney, a real handful. Today he didn't need to be brilliant in the box. He was just, I thought,
pulling the strings, really.
He was. But I thought Ben White had a shocking debut. Pablo Mari was a mess, so they all will go into it.
The whole back line was terrible.
But I want to ask a very blanket statement here. Where did it go wrong? Like, if you were to look at where the majority of the blame, and I'll give you some examples. Is it the players? Did they not take their chances? Should they have been more clinical in the final third? Is it the manager? The manager who, in nearly 2 years in this job, still hasn't been able to make us look like we can score a goal when we need one. Does it just go back to the owners? Like, ultimately, where does the responsibility lie for this performance?
It's a whole domino effect, isn't it? I feel like in this performance, it's hard to put all the blame on the manager. I feel like that will be the easy target. Yeah. Because when you start blaming the manager, you don't blame it for the performance. You look at the bigger picture and everything that ties into what happened today, what led to the game. But ultimately, it was the players on the pitch today. For me, I know you might disagree with that, but we're too experienced. These players are too experienced. They played football for too long, for big teams. Some of them have played for Arsenal for over 6 years, not many. But you cannot let chances go in like that when there's a long throw coming in. somehow we all knew sitting on that couch that was going to lead to a goal.
Yeah.
That's how much lack of faith we have in that defence. Even though we've got a new £50 million signing, which I did say I was not excited about, and now look, first game of the season, everyone got onto me for that, saying, why are you not excited? Be excited. Who are you, Josh Kroenke? Why should I be excited that we brought in someone in an area that didn't need improvements more than other positions did? Cool, we've improved that position, and we still let in 2 goals.
Yeah, and that's and this is what Arsenal fans will say, and it's very hard to disagree with. They'll say, all right, Ben White might in his own right be a quality player.
Yeah.
But if we spent 50 million on him, that's 50 million that's not gone towards another potential target. When we had William Saliba, who we spent 27 mil on, would Arsenal have looked worse today with William Saliba at centre-back? I would say no. I don't think we'd have looked worse. But we definitely looked worse going forward for a lack of a new signing in a number 10.
Yeah.
A new striker, a new creative wing, or whatever it is. An upgrade on Granit Xhaka, who, 2 weeks ago was on his way out.
Yeah.
And now he's starting and captaining Arsenal. Turkish made a really, really good point. He said, it's not just about... Well, I'm sort of paraphrasing what he says here. I'm sort of adding my opinion to it, but it's not just about saying, all right, the money wasn't right for Xhaka, so we're going to keep him. It's then you give him a new deal and you're like, really? It's then he starts and then he's made captain.
Yeah.
And by the way, Granit Xhaka lost the ball once, near the box, and that was poor. Didn't really have a bad game, had some nice moments, but the point is, it's the same cycle for Arsenal. It's the same players, and ultimately, that's not me actually. For everything I've just said, that is not me blaming Granit Xhaka. Because I decided this season that I am past the point of blaming the players.
Okay.
How much evidence do we need that certain players aren't at the required level? And guess who the bright stars were today? Lokonga, I thought, especially in that second half, was superb. Smith Rowe, Bukayo Saka when he came on.
Yeah, it made a huge difference.
I thought Martinelli didn't really do a lot, but you could tell he was trying, working hard. Balogun, I thought, really worked hard. Didn't come off for him, but he was trying things. So my point is, it's the youngsters, the ones we want to hear again. It's the youngsters we want to see again, who aren't letting us down. And it's the same old face. I thought Chambers was appalling today. So yeah, look, we're trying to avoid the rants and actually trying to break this down.
But it's really hard. After seeing that as well, you can hear, I'm sure you can hear in the background, everyone's going a bit loopy-loo.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've got some clips you guys have been sending in. No, not yet? We will do soon. So I've made notes here. I don't know why I bother making notes, Pippa.
Just gonna go off on a tangent.
Because the one thing I want to do is try and keep this really structured and try and break down point by point where it went wrong.
Okay.
Let's go with the first goal.
What's the goal, by the way? First goal of the Premier League campaign.
Yeah.
And what a way for him to score it. We all like to say, who's that? Who's that fella?
Sergio Canos.
Yeah.
I've been following Brentford for a while, and I think he even might have gone on loan at one point and come back. Like, this is the thing. Like, Brentford today, and it was Stricto who said it really well. I can't remember if he said it on the watch along or straight after. It's not even Brentford today turned up and they were brilliant and passed us off the park or whatever.
Yeah.
They just showed more energy. They wanted to get to the ball more. They wanted to get into certain areas more. Areas where you can hurt teams.
Yeah.
And they hurt us because they got into those areas superbly. Whenever they got into the final third, Mbemo, who was like a right forward, would pop up on the left, would pop up in the middle. Tony would get him beyond, he'd come short. They just did different things, and that's the one reason why for me it sits on Arteta more than the players. Because when I look at the players, for me they look overcoached. Don't move your position, you've got to be here. But I've said
do
this.
Do they look overcoached?
Yeah, I really do.
I feel like look undercoached.
Well, you'd think by how poor we look and the lack of. Here's what I mean.
Okay.
If you split the pitch into 3/3, you're defending, and then what you do in the middle of the park, and then the final third.
Yeah.
I think, and I'm not bantering here, I think we're brilliant at what we do in the middle of the park. Seriously, I think we're really good at getting it from one box to the other, passing it through, getting from one end to the other, Tierney overlapping, keeping possession, knocking
out whatever. It's always down that one side, though.
Well, that's true. But in general, I think we can get from one end to the other. Okay. But in the individual boxes in the decisive moments where we need a bit of quality, a bit of invention, a bit of fluidity to score a goal, we can't do it. That's where I think we look overcoached. Players are trying to, rather than do instinctively what's going to come to them to try to score a goal, they're trying to remember, what did the manager tell me to do? What should I be doing in this position? Who should I be looking for?
Is that how it looks to you?
That's how it looks to me. And then when you go into the defensive area, that's not even about being overcoached. That's just being a shambles.
That's a mess.
That's just a complete mess.
Whatsoever.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like, I think there are elements to our football, like today, when you look at the stats. Yeah, we had 22 shots, but again, 4 of them were on target. Because that's what I mean. We had the shots, so we clearly got into shooting positions, but they weren't good enough. We didn't create good enough. And look, there were moments. Pep had a great effort. Saved by Raya, at the end. That was a very good effort.
Save, yeah.
Xhaka should have scored. Martinelli should have scored. There were chances. We should have taken them. But no football team converts like 90% of their good chances. They need to create chances. And you score, I don't know, 3 out of 10 good ones. That's kind of how it works. But anyway, that first goal, who do you blame?
Callum Chambers for one.
Yeah.
Wasn't tight enough at all on him. And who else to the left? There was someone else behind Chambers, and it just was a complete mess. But for me, hands down, straight away, it's Callum Chambers.
Yeah.
He's not staying tight on his man, and then when he does, he's kind of just backing away.
Yeah.
He's not defending. He's literally backing away, just trying to get his body in the way. That's not good enough.
Yeah, there was a lot of that today. Turkish was saying a lot of like, get to him, get to the man.
It's like they were scared.
Yeah, that's how it looked to me. And when I'm looking at Callum Chambers in that position, so for me it's all on Callum as well, but he's done 2 things wrong. Firstly, if you're going to clear it when you're pretty much near your goal, you clear it. It goes.
Yeah.
And if you can't, you go down for a corner, and then you go again, you reset. He did neither. He kind of kept the move alive for Brentford. The second thing, though, once Canos gets into that position, you get tight, but you deny the shot. Left him just enough space, whether it was through the legs or side to his left, whatever it was. I agree. It might have been Ben White or someone, I think, could have come across more. And at one point I was looking at Leno because it was near post, but actually I think it's just a great strike, and I think he's blocked by Callum Chambers. We're going to take some, I think we've got some videos and some voice notes and stuff. We've got a clip. Let's just take a super chat really quickly. France says, the primary problem is not the players, the issue is the manager. Our best signing this season will be a manager. Aubameyang can't be blamed here as the normal. We can't score. Get real. The issue is the manager.
Okay.
I echo a lot of that. Shreth says we could have bought muscle and creativity in Aouar and Sabitzer. Since we can't play down the middle, we froze out players who want to play for us. Ozil, Guendouzi, Martinez to build the squad. Really pathetic. Ooh. Alberto says, I think we should bring Wenger in. We need stability and an experienced manager just for this season.
To come back at this point.
This club is in an absolute shambles. I don't think we should bring him back, but I think he'd do better with this team. I think he would 100% do better with this team. Matthew with a super chat as well says, problem is the ownership. The rot starts from the top and things won't change until Cronkies are gone. When will fans wake up and realise this? Let's go to the first clip we've got. See what they've had to say.
Hi, my name is Samuel and I'm from Sweden. I'm watching the game right now and I can say I'm not surprised even a little bit. Not even a little bit am I surprised. I had a feeling this was going to happen. Arteta out all day. I need him gone. I need him out of my club. And how can he give Xhaka the captain's armband after he told us all to F off and flirted with Roma? Like, how does that make sense?
He's spot on.
Big facts there.
He's spot on. Like whether the fans were wrong in that whole
booing him situation,
Xhaka should not be wearing the captain's armband. But I'm going to say this again, I don't blame Granit Xhaka. He doesn't pick himself.
Me?
No, he doesn't. No, I did. Every other previous season, and it's on all the fan cams from last, you'll see me going, how is this guy strangling people and then starting the next game back after his suspension? How is he telling the fans to F off and he's straight back in the team amid this new manager? How is he getting away with all this? What's that meme from Breaking Bad? Have you seen Breaking Bad?
I haven't watched Breaking Bad. Sorry.
There's Jesse from Breaking Bad and he breaks down in tears going, how does he keep getting away with this?
I've seen that.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
But I don't blame him anymore.
Because it's a manager's choice. He's clearly a manager's favourite. He's clearly a manager's favourite. There's clearly favourites in that team, the likes of Bellerin, Xhaka, sometimes even Aubameyang. But like, I just don't understand. I know that he is on that pitch and in that change room the natural leader. It makes every bit of sense if you take everything away that's happened that he would wear the captain's armband.
So in what way? Like because he's the most communicative?
I just feel like he has some type of dominance on the pitch. You can see it in one of the elder players. He's got, international experience. He's been a captain before. He's captain of his national team. He knows how to lead a team, just not to a win, clearly. But I can understand. I can't explain. From what I see from him, I can understand why he would be a captain. But there was a reason the armband was stripped from him in the first place. And it needs to remain that way. Yeah. And if it's not going to be Aubameyang going forward for the season, it cannot go back to Xhaka.
Yeah.
It cannot.
And guys, this is not the Bash Xhaka show.
No, of course not.
Because what we're here, the point I think, I'm making, I think you are too, ultimately, you're right, he shouldn't have been given the armband, but he didn't go into the office, pick it up and go, I'll have this.
Fair enough.
No, that wasn't on, and this is why I'm past Callum Chambers. I've got 1,000,001 reasons to be infuriated with his performance today. Mm-hmm. But how many years of Callum Chambers being at best a mediocre footballer at the level we want to be at, how many years of evidence do we need before we go, I think we need a new right back?
Yeah. But he's not even a right back. He's a centre back.
But exactly. Exactly. And there's one right back in the squad, that Arteta signed.
Yeah.
Cedric. Mm-hmm. And he won't play him. Gets the least looking of all the options.
And have we
there.
ever been given a clear-cut reason as to why that is? Because I feel like we're always in the dark about these situations.
We're in the dark about everything.
Absolutely everything.
Did you see his quotes before the game about Laka and Aubameyang? He says that, they're both ill or unwell or something. That's all I can say.
Yeah, why? If
we
they're ill, what do you mean that's all you can say?
Halfway through that sentence, we had no questions until he said, that's all I can say.
If it wasn't for the media sources that I saw release that information, he probably wouldn't have said a thing. We would have all just been like, oh, where's Aubameyang and Lacazette? I'm sure we'll hear something afterwards when someone actually asks him after the game.
Rapid says Cedric's not even bad. No,
He's not bad.
I've not seen Cedric have a bad game for us, and I'm not joking, at least not a right back. Amwesh says, I felt there was time Martinez was taking very good position, but Xhaka was passing to Tierney. Thomas Frank has more stature than Arteta. Thomas Frank has achieved more as a manager than Mikel Arteta, 1,000,000%. Bijou says, hey, been a while for me, Arteta out, doesn't matter who plays for us, Mikel will always have us play exactly like this, even Maddison can't save us. Let's get through these. Steve with another super chat says, nothing has changed, but it's okay, fans will still buy the new kits, Arteta out.
No.
Well, that's probably how the ownership are feeling. Skull Thuggery, big up Skull Thuggery. We're going to be biblical levels of wash this season, but at least we'll look swagged out doing it. There's every cloud, eh?
Why do we even have a third kit? We're not in Europe.
Nah, did you notice normally the club unveil their European range, like on the website?
Yeah.
Now it's the cup range. We're in shock.
Sad. I didn't even notice. I haven't looked on the website.
Mate, me and Cecil did a Carabao Cup second round draw the other day.
Yeah.
We were sat here like, what are we doing? What the hell are we here
This
for?
is what we've become.
Fully. Diego with the super chat says, I'm not surprised after that game. It's not Arteta's fault, guys. Blame the owners. Is Arteta playing? No. Again, we need a creative midfielder, right back and striker. Kroenke, F out. Kevin with the super chat, and I believe we've got some more clips to go through. Kevin says, USA overhaul Stefan Dest, Weston McKennie. I'll take them all. Another super chat, KD. James just came out of work. How bad we played. Give me in short how screwed we are, please. I did expect us to lose, but this looks bad.
We are screwed.
Yeah. Looney Noon says, after one game, how confident are you in Arteta? Not at all. Because for me, he should have gone last season. Why did Nelson come on? Someone should answer this.
Yeah, that was a bit strange.
And then Bijou again with Super Chat says, I bet Laka and Oba refuse to play. Randomly ill. Don't give me that toss.
Conspiracies.
Guys, keep sending in your videos, your voice notes. The phone number is in the description below. Remember, you're not calling the number. We have to stress that because you're not calling. Just send them in and we'll get the chance to play them here on full time. A brand new show on AFTV. Let's hear what you guys have had to say.
I'm done.
He was actually telling us, and we
I swear, I'm a die-hearted Arsenal fan, and I'm done out here. Like 2-0. Arteta out. What is the difference between Pierre-Emerick and Arteta? You're telling me that you lot sacked Pierre-Emerick for Arteta? Fuck it, man. Arteta out.
Look what he's doing to us on a Friday night. Look at that. He looks stressed. He's drinking.
I feel that so much.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, if you see me laughing, please don't take any of it as I don't care or I find this funny. If I don't laugh, I'll actually be crying here to you because do you know what's mad, right? Went to the Emirates for that Brighton last game. We won 2-0. We played well. I thought 2.5 months, but I'm gonna miss it. Yeah, the Euros. Mancini sold me a dream with the Italian football, and I was loving it. And then England got to the final.
Didn't tell you a dream. The dream was a reality.
This football's easy, man. This is all good. I come back to Arsenal, and I'm thinking, but I see that, and I'm like, I've got to laugh because I'm like, I'm feeling that.
Like for anyone that was just the smallest bit of excited for the start of the season, have just been slapped down back to reality.
We've got a super chat from Josh Cronky saying, "Be excited."
No, there's no excitement.
I'm gonna kill you, Josh.
There's no excitement.
Oh my word. Diego with another super chat. Thank you. Says, "I'm not surprised after that game. It's not Arteta's fault, guys. Blame the owners." As Arteta. Oh, I've read that super chat. My bad. Daniel woke up at 5 a.m. to watch this junk. Arteta will be gone after Man City game when we have 3 straight losses. I think that's very possible.
Do you think he'll be gone that soon though? 2 games in.
If the listen. The Cronkies are many things, but they're not ones to willy-nilly throw the cash out and not get results back. If there's Ben White for 50 mil, Lokonga for 20 mil, we're now hearing Odegaard for 30 to 40 mil. That's over 100 million. Is my maths right? That's over 100 million pounds worth of spending. You chuck Tavares in, and apparently you want a striker and a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
They are not going to accept 3 defeats on the bounce. They're not going to accept it. We have to beat Chelsea. We have to beat Chelsea.
But realistically, that doesn't seem like something that will happen.
Nope.
Especially after that performance.
Nope. Fizz with the super chat says, "What's the difference between Arsenal and Brentford's logo? The Brentford logo has points. How did you get beat a team managed by Timothy?" Okay, I don't know.
The logo has points. I thought it had a B on it.
Well, they've got points on the table. That's the important thing.
Yeah.
Touch of Awesome says, "Lokonga looks great." I agree. I thought Lokonga was one of, and we're going to try and dig out some positives out of this. Smith Rowe was good. Stopped watching after second goal. This is going to be a great season. Yup. Pierre-Emerick says, "United fan here. You lost because you did bad in both boxes. Between boxes, Arsenal did well." That's what you said. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. But by the way, I take no consolation from that.
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh cool, we're good at. If the Premier League was, if football was, here's a football and here's a pitch, keep it as long as you can. We'd be second. Yeah. We'd be second to City.
Yeah.
That
really
we are masters of keeping it in pointless positions. But we're not masters of putting it.
We've done that for years, though.
Huh?
We've done that for years. Possession's always been high.
True, but there was substance behind it. Almost to the point where we were so good going forward that we were a mess at the back.
Yeah.
At least last year we
cleaned up.
I think last year we don't lose, but we nick a crappy 0-0 or something. We look at shams at the back. Gary super chat says, "Pippa James, please tell me your honest opinion. Please tell me if it's the manager or the board. How can we blame Arteta? Who did we have on the pitch?" No, but let's explore
we said this beginning of the show. So I said players. You said manager and the board.
Yeah, I put it. Okay. Arsenal are in this mess overall because of the board and the owners and Arteta, the parts player and everything. Arsenal lost this game today. Yes, we lost Lacazette and Aubameyang. Big blows. That's a real shame. I get it. Yes, Arteta probably wanted these signings in on time as well. Fine. Would I have done much differently with the 11? I don't know, but the style of football he is implementing is on him.
Yeah.
The areas, the way they're moving the ball, the things they're trying to do is on him.
Yeah,
Brentford don't have better players than us.
Well,
they don't have better players than us.
They had a better performance.
Much better performance because they have a better manager who's instilled a style of football that they believe in. It got them promoted, and it's now they've claimed their first scalp of the Premier League. We've got another clip. Let's go into it in a second.
Hey guys, Ebe here, American. You know what I think? I think Arteta hates creativity. He got rid of Ozil, never replaced him until Odegaard came in. And this whole summer, we had a chance to get a creative midfielder in early. He goes for another defender, trying to go all in for a goalkeeper. We need creativity. We can't have these midfielders just passing it to the left flank, right flank, left flank, right flank, just to cross it in. And we don't have a striker that can head the ball in. We need a striker that's 6'4". We might as well get a striker that's 6'4", because all we do is cross the ball into empty space.
Yep.
That is spot on.
That is absolutely spot on.
And I agree with him. He does hate creativity. But how can you hate creativity when you had the honour and pleasure of playing alongside someone like the player Santi Cazorla? That helped you be in a position to, you know, win FA Cups or whatever it was. We didn't do massively great then.
And he worked under Pep Guardiola.
Literally.
The most expansive, attack-minded, purest football mind I've ever known.
Yeah.
And this is But do you know what it is? Like, it's not even like we battered Brentford for 90 minutes. So for all the possession and the shots we had, it wasn't a chance after chance after chance, they picked us off. Chance after chance after chance, they picked us off. In that case, I'd be saying, give Arteta the players, and it will. Like, that quality striker, that right number 10 or whatever, and we're going to convert those chances. We're just going to outscore teams. I don't even, because someone made a great point in one of the super chats. Even if we had better players, even if we had a Maddison or whatever, or Lautaro Martinez, the patterns of play are coached by this guy. And I realised something. That was a great video. Thank you for sending that in. I forgot your name, but thank you so much. He said something. I had a eureka moment. We have possession in the most pointless areas of the pitch. Do you know what I mean?
Left to right.
Right. We probe in the most pointless areas of the pitch. There's no penetrating down the middle. There were times where Brentford, I thought, ball over the top, holds it up, and suddenly they're running at our goal. They're not trying to, get in that. And look, you can do things down the wing, you can do things in other areas, but at the very
threats.
We
don't have it at all. We dance around the box, we flirt around the defenders, and do absolutely nothing. Nothing. But when Brentford are on the ball, you've got one player pinging it over the top, and they're gone through. They're gone through. There was a moment in the game where, what's his name, Embremo? He danced through about 2 or 3 of our players. They were just standing there,
Mary
watching
White,
him.
gone.
Literally standing there. Was they in awe of what he was doing? Was he that incredible that they thought, oh, let's just watch him in action and let him have a shot on goal?
Yep, agreed. Chris the Super Chat says, would love to hear DT's thoughts on tonight. Owner needs to sell to Spotify owner and allow Arsenal a chance. We've got another Super Chat. Mana says, mate, the way Xhaka and other players keep passing to ghost players tells me these players are overcoached. No one has free will to express themselves. I think that's absolutely spot on. Pippa, the second goal, let's go into it. Let me just remind.
This the one from the long throw-in, right?
My brain's already done. Have you heard of repression? You know, when you just, my brain's done that. I remember studying that in psychology, and I was like, "There's no way your brain can just like make you forget
delete things."
Thoughts.
I'm trying to remember the goal.
The game finished half an hour ago,
and I'm like, "Was it?"
And I'm already like, "What was the second goal? The throw-in? What the hell went wrong?"
Well, everyone just fell asleep. Really, everyone dozed off because it all happened very quickly. It's one of the best throw-ins we've seen in a while. Was it the one where he was rubbing the ball for a long time? Was it Pinnock?
Probably did that a few times. Ethan
I think it was
Pinnock.
that moment where it was all like, why is he... No, it couldn't have been.
But you know a tactic that outdid us in 2009 with bloody Ricardo Fuller and Stoke and Rory Delap has outdone us in 2021? Like...
We're stuck
in the past. They are difficult
stuck
to defend, I understand, but when you're seeing... no one take responsibility for it. And it's painful when one of our better players in Kieran Tierney is one of the players that slept on that chance. He was right there to defend it. Leno's to blame, Tierney's to blame, they're all there. And they've done absolutely nothing to stop that ball from going in. Yeah, I completely agree. Let's take some more super chats. Marco says, check the president of Rwanda's Twitter. Okay, interesting. Okay, I'm sure someone will have a little look for that.
I'll have a look while you're
Nick says, Pippa, James, tonight it was like when we used to play Stoke away with Rory Delap's long throws, couldn't defend them, and it was the same tonight.
Oh, thank you very much.
So just good. Do you want to read this out loud? Turkish has given it the once over.
What? Question marks. It's football. It's a loss of Arsenal to Brentford. Brentford deserved to win, and they did. The game itself aside, Arsenal and the fans don't deserve to kind of get used to this. No, in capital letters, exclamation marks. I say this as one of the big fans of Arsenal. The change has taken too long to come, and that's the president of Rwanda.
Wow.
Rwanda.
Rwanda's one of the biggest sponsors on our shirt. Visit Rwanda.
I've got to say,
the fact that one of the, let's say, not sponsored, but the president of the country that sponsored Arsenal is saying this.
That's mad.
So you know we're in dire times. It's terrible.
Quick super chat from Shaquille says, same old crap, naive defending, can't break down a newly promoted team, and idiotic in the transfer market. Bought centre back 50 mil when priorities were right back, centre mid, num 10 and a striker. Let's go to the next clip, guys. Keep them coming.
Good evening, guys. Rasta Stania from South Africa. The saddest part of all, I'm not even vexed, and that is a worrying sign. Peace.
Out in South Africa.
Short and sweet.
They're supporting
What
from
more
all
can you
over
say?
the world, man. And people message saying, I stayed up till 5 a.m. watching this. I stayed
Waking
up till
at
2.
2 a.m.
I got work in 3 hours. They stay up watching that because we're such a massive football club. And when people say to me, Arsenal, Arsenal crap now. They're not the team they used to be. All that. Listen, I'll take it because it's true.
Yes.
But I'll never take is this. Arsenal aren't a big club anymore. No, we don't act like one. But we're still a massive football club. And big up to all of you around the world
that make
sending in your videos and tuning into AFTV. Do we have another clip coming up?
Let's
I think.
go to another one.
Yeah.
Arsenal fan from Canada here. I don't even know why I'm watching this. It's fucking shit, man. Cranky needs to go. Arteta needs to go, man. This is ridiculous. Absolutely, man. This is shambolic. This is the worst display of football I've ever seen, bro. Man, this is terrible. Absolutely terrible.
When you're just lost for words. Shambolic. Terrible. How many more superlatives can you think of to describe the game?
The kind of what I keep hearing amongst fans is worst football. Like, this isn't. Do you know Unai Emery, right? Things got bad.
Yeah.
Things got bad because we were chaos. But at least we were chaos in both ends.
Yeah.
At least we could go 2-0 down at home to Spurs and claw it back to 2-2. Because there was, in chaos, anything could kind of come out of it. But I was watching that Brentford game and thinking, at 1-0, I thought, Pepe might whip something out. Something might happen because that's football. But at 2-0 down, I went, that's not stacking up that way.
And that's why fans are saying it is the worst football because, like you just mentioned there's previous seasons where we've played bad football and we've had bad moments in seasons, but there's still that hope that we can do something to turn it around in the game, turn it around in the season. But this season, as well as last season, it gets to a point where it's like, I don't see anything happening here. I don't see us getting back into this game against Brentford. I don't see us winning against Chelsea. I don't see us winning against Man City. Whereas last season and the season before, you'll say, possibly, if this person plays and if we do this style of football and we play this formation, we might get a draw or we might do this. But there's no hope. There's no. Do you feel confident against Chelsea? It's a straight up no-brainer that no one's confident against these teams, especially after seeing a loss to a newly promoted team who, of course, are going to come out all guns blazing. But 2-0 was unacceptable.
We had a super chat from Jamie who says that he's basically was pro Arteta, but he's really started to doubt it, mate. Trust. Shreth says, we've just lost the super chat from Shreth. I'm very sorry. Miss LA, this team has got to be a joke. We need to be sincere. All the journalists and fan association needs to start asking the right questions. This is crazy. Yeah, that's something a lot of people are pushing for, actually.
Well, the journalists.
Well,
I do get annoyed about these press conferences. I know they like to moderate and make sure journalists saying the right things. They wouldn't like people. I wouldn't be asking those questions. But to be fair, yesterday's press conference, somebody did push and ask, where do you think Arsenal will finish this season? And he didn't answer, and they said so 5th, 6th, and he just didn't. Arteta didn't give a straight answer at all. He just said if we beat Brentford, we're in a good position. Well, guess what? We haven't beaten Brentford, and we're definitely not in a good position.
Couldn't agree with you more. I think we've got another clip to go, and Pippa, thank you for joining me.
Welcome.
I think we're going to rotate. We've got some people waiting in the wings. Pippa, always great to hear your thoughts.
Of course.
Let's see what you guys have been saying.
It's Tom, lifelong Arsenal fan. I've been saying it for years. Arteta out. I think he's clueless, and it's winding me up. What's he doing? Smith Rowe, not even that good. I just don't get it. Why isn't he playing Aubameyang? Why isn't he playing Lacazette? I just don't get it. It's a fucking joke. It's just doing my head in.
We've got Turkish now here. How you doing? So let's just address some of the things he said there. Arteta out, cool. Obviously Aubameyang and Lacazette were ill. We don't know why. We might explore that. I don't think Smith Rowe was poor today. I actually thought he was very quiet in the first half. But I thought in the second half he looked like the only one doing anything. Him and Lokonga. But let's rely on the teenagers, eh?
Yeah. That's the main problem. Well, that's the main problem in terms of that one positivity we can talk about, which is the youth.
It is, and I think we should touch on it. I think it is important to look at, even though it's all bad, there's some good, and we'll try and break it down. Andy Arsenal, Big fan, always tuning in. Ever since we signed Xhaka, we've been in turmoil. Is that a coincidence? I personally don't think it is, but I also don't blame him because he doesn't pick himself. J-Raj says, during Arsenal's reign, we were a far better team. We absolutely were, even when Arsene Wenger left us. Oh, to be fair, that year we finished 6th in his last season. We weren't much better than this, but we were better. But we had better players.
Gone from the last couple of years with Wenger.
No, this happened this started under Wenger for sure. Look, Turkish, we're going to get your thoughts on a lot of things. Let's talk, though, about Albert Sambi Lokonga and Emil Smith-Rowe, who I thought looked the only players. One's a new signing. One, yes, has been at the club a long time, but only became a first-team regular in January.
Yeah.
And they looked the only ones doing anything. I'll credit Kieran Tierney for trying, but I thought he was poor. I think Pepe was trying, but nothing came off for him. I think in front of a back five, he really struggled. Balogun tried, but okay, it's his debut, difficult circumstances. Lokonga and Smith-Rowe are the only two that I'm even remotely happy with. Leno made a good save. What can we say about them?
Yeah, they had their brief moments. One thing I liked about Lokonga is on the edge of the box, he was trying to, still break the lines.
Little Fabregas kind of dink passes and stuff.
You need that sometimes. And it's nice to see he has that.
Yeah.
Because in 5 years with Xhaka, we haven't seen something like that from him. And I'm not saying that's what Xhaka's there for, but we haven't, seen that from our central midfielder in a long time.
Yeah.
I'd probably argue the last one that would do something like that and more is Cazorla.
Yeah.
That's how far back we have to go to even. And I'm not saying Lokonga's anything like him. What I am saying is it's refreshing to see that he was willing to try and break the lines with risky passes. Yeah,
I really like that in a situation incredibly pressurised for him, that he's come into the team starting. No one expected him to start this game when we signed him. We're 2-0 down, we're 1-0 down, then we're 2-0 down. But in all of that, he was the one wanting the ball, trying to make things happen. Listen, that's some mental strength, and I'll give him that, because it can be very easy to just fall to the level of everyone around you. But again, Saka comes on and he's trying his best, and he looks like he might make something happen. Emil Smith-Rowe, a nice turn, a lovely shot, some really nice moments. He's starting to show parts of his game I hadn't seen before. I think he's, with every game I'm seeing a little bit more skill, a little bit more flair, a little bit more drive, but he can't do it on his own. I think whether Odegaard's the answer, or it's a Maddison, or hell, somehow we pull Bernardo Silva in, whoever it is, Buendia.
There's no one answer. That's the difficult
But he needs
thing.
Someone to play off, doesn't he? He needs someone on his wavelength.
Even if he has someone to play off, we're gonna fall down somewhere else.
Yeah,
and that's what's not fair on. Like I said, the one positivity we have is the youth, but also we can't, rely on them, and we can't, put the burden of what's happened at Arsenal Football Club on them to turn it around.
Mm-hmm.
That's not fair.
No,
regardless of 7 to Saka and 10 to Emil Smith-Rowe and how nice that is with Haaland and all that. This club are essentially, hanging them out to dry, and they've done that in the past with Fabregas, for example.
Yeah,
he had a few more better players around, that's for sure. But Fabregas has spoken of when he was young, he feels like he was given too much responsibility. He looked around, there was no winners. Sooner or later, the Sakas and Emil Smith-Rowes of our side will do the same. Yeah, and that's what I worry about, because there's nothing we're going to do this season. Mm-hmm. I worry about 2 years and 3 years, because the more damage we continue doing to ourselves now, it's going to have more repercussions later down the line.
Mm-hmm.
That's what worries me more than what the fuck we're doing in this season, because we can't do nothing. Even if we sign 3 players in the next 3 weeks, it might give us top 6.
Yeah,
it might not. But anything more than that's a very big reach.
Yeah, agreed.
And, that's why I have to think about how Saka and Amy will feel in a couple of years if we have transfer windows like we've just done.
Yeah, agreed. Right, guys, remember that you can have your say on this show by sending in your videos or your voice notes. The phone number is in the description below. Let's hear what you guys have had to say.
I'm all the way in Brazil. Watch the game. We need a manager that can get the best out of the worst players we have at Arsenal. Everything is a joke. Everything is a joke. Come on, you Gunners.
It breaks my heart, because he says that and then he ends it with "Come on, you Gunners," and that is like the hopelessness we feel. Like I hate you so much, all of you. You've all pissed me off. You've ruined my Friday night. You've ruined my weekend, right? Because now I'm not interested in any of the Premier League football now, because Arsenal let me down. But still, at the end of it all, Come on, Arsenal.
Yeah.
It's football. It's sport. Ultimately, there's bigger things in life, but
Definitely,
it means so much to people, and it's difficult.
It is difficult because as much as I know what's coming, it's still difficult to see and frustrating to know that there's little I can do alone, or we can do as maybe like a few of us, for example. Like, it's much bigger. The problem at Arsenal is so big that it's gonna take the majority of the fan base to have had enough, and I just don't see that.
Are we there?
I don't think so.
Well, let's see what the rest of them have had to say. We've got some more clips coming in.
This is a joke. I'm fed up of watching Arsenal on a daily. Like, it's a joke. We're playing like kids in a park against adults, and like, you just know you're not good enough. Arteta needs to get out. He's not got a clue what he's doing. He's not a manager. He's an ex-footballer. You don't sign ex-footballers as managers unless they know that they're going to be a good manager. Like, it's a joke. Arteta thinks that he's gonna like run the world. He can't even beat bloody Brentford. They've just been promoted. They're a bunch of fucking shithouses who've just been promoted. It's a joke. Arteta out. Get someone. I'd bloody have David Moyes from West Ham. I'd have anyone other than Arteta. It's a joke. I just want him gone. He's actually shit. I can't be bothered watching Arsenal anymore. I'm still gonna watch him because it's deep in my heart, but it's just a joke. I'm fed up.
That's another one that's similar to the last one. He said, what did he just say? I'm tired of watching them, but I'm still going to watch them.
But you know what I love about it, and I mean no disrespect. I love just kind of how simply he put it. This is terrible. That's terrible. This is shit. I hate that, but I'm going to keep watching, and like that's it, isn't it?
Because what can you do,
We love the club.
We've got good memories with this club. So.
Absolutely. Let's get through some super chats. Bunny says, have you guys ever thought of the idea that this could be the norm for Arsenal, that it will never improve and gradually become a bottom table side? Listen, that could be the reality. Arsenal can't think that they're bigger than that. Anthony, young players surrounded by rubbish experienced players with bad mentalities. We will be the new Southampton selling youth once they become good. Saka will be at Man City next year. Cheers for the content. God, I hope not. Toby Swift just sent in a super chat. With nothing said, but thank you for the super chat. Jamie says, guys, I love Arsenal, but I feel we're on the decline. I see positives in Smith Rowe and Lokonga, but Jesus Christ, the Arsenal that I know doesn't exist right now. And we've got one more super chat. Touch of Awesome says, we have 3 right backs, am I wrong? When we put our second left back on the right, he seemed to look like he wanted it more than the others. That is such a good point. And we went into the Villarreal tie with Tierney injured, which meant we had no left backs until Xhaka got injured, and then Tierney got rushed back, and now we have 3 left backs. Like it genuinely is extraordinary how we let Kolasinac go and let us listen. By the way, I'm not saying this and I rate Kolasinac, but how we let Kolasinac go without having a deal that there was a permanent move and shift on for him, when actually he could have at least he'd have been a left back in the squad instead of playing Cedric there, which cost us
January
points.
was just a big con. It was January was a con in the sense where they got rid of everyone short term. And then you hear Fenerbahce's president spoke out recently saying Arsenal still paid the majority of his wages from January to the end of the season.
Superb business, eh? We've got more super chats. Lorcan says, I'd lay my life down for Arsenal. Where's the fight from the boys? That's such a good point. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. But I think there is fight from a lot of them. This isn't like in the past where I've seen a bunch of players who I don't think want to be there. I think there is fight from a lot of these players. I think the biggest issue is that they're, and I said it to Pippa before you came on, I think they looked overcoached. I think I've never seen a team play, at least an Arsenal team play, with less instinct than this. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
There's nothing like innovative and instinctive and just natural about what we do in the final third.
Yeah, the only thing that you can see, and this is the only thing, is the Tierney overlap. And we're overly reliant on that because it's the only thing we seem to have in our arsenal.
Which is such a simple, we get here, so he runs.
Tierney does the work.
Like fullbacks have been overlapping for 20 years.
He does the work.
Longer.
And the thing about Tierney, he had a poor game, but in the first 30 minutes or so, he had like 3-4 brilliant balls into the box. But
yeah, I think he probably tired. Jim with the super chat says, I'm really disappointed in Arsenal. The whole thing is done. All for nothing. Coming soon. That is very true. Jamie says, I'm no Arsenal fan, but that was embarrassing to watch. Feel sorry for you guys. Yep. God, you know when the rival fans started to say, can't even banter you guys anymore. It's sad.
You can't banter people that know what it is now.
No, exactly.
It's all good banter when we think we're something we're not, but you know, right now.
Too right. Paul says Ian Wright looked ashamed at the end of the game. Yeah. Well, because he's one of us. He's not one of these pundits who just kind of glosses over things. Like he says it how it is, and he sticks up for the fans because he's one of us. Big up Ian Wright. Love him. Bunny again says, how do we miss out on all of those free agents that PSG snapped up? I mean, in fairness, I don't think Ramos and Messi fancied this project, but I get your point. KD, I cannot understand. Everyone outside the team can see what's wrong. Even legends talk about it, but Arteta doesn't see it. How can he be so stubborn? That's a really good point. Some of them are just obvious. Lewis's super chat also says, Ober and Laka being sold? ? Arteta out. Guys, keep sending in your clips. The phone number's in the description below. We've got more to show you now.
Well, here we go again, people. Big up AFTV and all of that. It's Wave Man here. Brentford done us in, and you know, it was expected. Arsenal all over again, same game, same team, same player. Even though they put the different players on and all that, damn, we ain't that Arsenal, man. We're not gonna ever get that. We gotta get a whole load of changes, not just defenders and all of that. A whole lot. They bought 50 mil. Ben White, he was playing. He done all right, but he didn't do good what he was supposed to do. 50 mil. Wow. There's players that shouldn't even be playing for Arsenal, but you know, we gotta live with it. Big up to the other players and what they done, and you know, here we go. Game 1 out.
Hey, can I say we thought we were having audio problems here, but big up. He was watching your stream. He was watching the watch along, the match day live.
Big up Wave Man. What did you say there? It was alright, but it didn't do what it was meant to do. And
that's a very polite way.
That's the story of Arsenal right now. We're not meant to.
I love that we've signed Ben White. I thought he was terrible today, though. Maybe terrible's extreme, and I'll regret that in the morning. But I don't think he was good. But no, I don't really think many people were, apart from maybe Lokonga and Smith Rowe at a push.
At a push, yeah.
At an absolute push. Have we got another super chat here? I think we take yes. Real Madrid, Arsenal. I mean, I'm more than happy to combine the clubs if you fancy it, because quite frankly we could do with some of your players. Arsenal fans are a bunch of do nothing crybabies. That's sweet. March on the stadium. Don't leave. Cancel Chelsea and City games until Kroenke and Arteta leave. I mean, I'm all for protesting, but then there's being realistic. People have lives, you know.
That's true, but at the same time, I think there's a point there.
There's a point there.
It'd have to be done, thoroughly.
Yeah,
and that's why what did he start with, crybabies or whatever?
Do nothing crybabies. There's a point that I think we let up on the Kroenke thing too quickly.
Well, of course, no doubt about that. Like, he didn't do nothing to change it around. Let's be honest.
No, of course, but we need to remember as well as fans, like, yeah, we want to protest, we want to force change at the club or whatever, but also we want to be happy. Like, everyone in life wants to be happy, and the easiest thing, if Arsenal are making me miserable, I can go to protest, which I did, and I can give my opinions on this channel, which I do, but away from that, I can go spend time with my friends and my girlfriend and my family, you know. And I think that's the thing. Like, sometimes we talk about it like life's over if this doesn't go right, and we can do more. But also, fans, people just be human beings. People just want to be happy, and I don't know, worth putting that into perspective, because I think to blame the Arsenal fans in this situation.
Oh no, we are to blame.
You think we are?
I say we both are.
You think the Arsenal fans to blame, really?
100%. We're part of, it's not as much as Kroenke, but we are there.
Why?
We are there. We trusted in someone that let us down. That's our fault.
We trusted. We had to trust.
No, but at the end of the day, it's our fault, isn't it?
Why?
Because we trusted in someone that we shouldn't have trusted in.
Well, why is it our fault? We weren't to know that.
Oh, in hindsight, it's our fault for doing it.
Yeah, but you might think I'm a good guy now, but if I screw you over in a year's time,
I was wrong, innit?
Yeah.
For fuck's sake, I was wrong. I shouldn't have thought you was a good
Would
guy.
you not look back and think, but I've been so lovely, I made you a coffee,
like,
I gave you a chicken wing from Morley's, no?
I was like, fuck this guy. I remember that moment there, and I'd be like, all of that shit he done was all a facade, mate.
Look, I can't blame the fans for this. I can blame the fans for accepting mediocrity.
The fans were blind.
And I think I have been one to always try and look at the positives or look at the bigger picture. Not always. I think people also think I'm probably more positive and delusional than I really am. But I can't ultimately like blame the fans. Like, of course they want to support. Of course they've got no choice. Like when Kroenke came in, we couldn't go.
But it's the idea
Don't
of
trust
support.
you, mate.
But it's the idea of support.
But we had to.
When let's say when. Okay, you can look at it two ways. Let's say the whole buying merchandise thing, which is a hot topic now. Yeah, you can look at not buying merchandise and saying, you know, it won't do a thing, this and that, you know, or did they get their money already and make excuses? Or you can look at facts and say to yourself, well, Man United have had a 10% decrease in their kit sales, and then it's had an effect on their next deal with TeamViewer instead of Chevrolet. That's facts there. That's, you know, been taken. But we as fans have been blind to a lot of solutions over the years, and that's what we are to be blamed for. Like, we was blind to think the Emirates was anything more than a commercial project. Like, at the time, I was part of this.
But I can understand why the fans.
Yeah, we can understand it, but at the end of the day, when we look back now, what was wrong with Highbury? Yes, it was small, but at the end of the day, we were still competing at the top. So we left Highbury to compete at the top, but we didn't really think to ourselves, hold on, we're at the fucking top. Okay, we didn't win Champions League, but we was invincible, and we went to a Champions League final within 2 years. It's very much at the top of world football. But we got sold a dream that, you know, we're going to move into this new stadium and compete with the best. We was fucking doing that. But that's in hindsight. Like I said, even I was blind to it. You think fancy a new stadium, more money, you're going to get stronger. But in essence, that's where I was wrong.
Yeah.
I trusted, and that's my fault for doing it.
Fair enough. I get what you're saying. Look, I differ from you on that. I can't blame the fans, because I think the fans are ultimately always... A, I don't think there's anything you can do at the start of a new project or process or ownership or whatever you want. And B, you're always going to want to be hopeful. Look at this trillion, billion, millionaire coming in. Surely he's going to do some good. And, you know, really, it's the other people who, and I'm not going to say names, who had a part in these processes being put into place. And they perhaps let us down. We've got a super chat from AT Football, says Brentford Football Club versus Arsenal. I'm having a really thick moment. If you know what PT, you used to work in corporate. What PTY stands for.
What's the
Arsenal
sentence?
PTY Limited. I think he's calling us a business essentially, and he's spot on. Sums it up perfectly.
I don't know.
I think that's what he's trying to say.
I need to see the chat myself.
Then we've got Eric's here. Big up Cecil. Eric, thank you for the super chat. Play Pepe, Saka, Laka, Oba as a front three, and Smith Rowe, Partey, Lokonga as a midfield three. Well, that's a... Oh, sorry, Laka or Aubameyang. Hey, I'd love to see that, I can't lie, to be fair. Right, I think we've got more clips, guys. Remember, send them in. Numbers in the description below. Voice notes or video clips. Keep sending them in. We're going to have lead judges coming in soon as well to give his thoughts. We're going to tackle some other stuff before you go Turkish, but let's hear what you guys have had to say.
As a wise man once said, it's time to go. I look at Arteta's face. It's the 92nd minute. He pisses me off. And I've been hearing Turkish talk about this in the live stream just now. How can he have the audacity to give the captaincy to Granit Xhaka, the man who's told all these Arsenal fans to fuck off when he was getting criticised? He never properly apologised. He came out saying, oh, I've been getting abused. Welcome to the real fucking world of being someone famous or being on social media, which is why I don't have it. You are going to get abused. If you do not perform, you get criticised, right? What is this bullshit? I'm not saying Xhaka was the worst player here, but we cannot be putting up with mediocrity, ludicrous displays like this week in, week out. We're not even in fucking Europe. How can anyone defend Arteta anymore, let alone Kroenke? But, you know, first things first, Arteta has to fuck right off. I don't care if it gives Kroenke more time, because if we brought someone proper in, if we brought Rafa Benitez in, would we be losing 2-0 to Brentford? Would we have brought in people that we don't even need? Ben White for £50 million? Are you actually taking the fucking piss? I can't take this anymore. And they can't keep thinking that fans are stupid. Some fans are for putting up with this shit, but I've had enough.
Hey, fair play.
He was going in.
Yeah.
My guy.
Summed up a lot of what I was feeling there. Let's get one more question from you, then we'll do some super chats. We're going to get lead judges to have the final word on this full-time show. Guys, we hope you've enjoyed it. Remember, the phone number's there. Send in your videos, voice notes, whatever it is. We might get one or two more entries for the end of the show. And remember, we'll be back on Monday for the Tactical Insight Show, where Graham and I will break this down from a tactical perspective. I don't think there's too much to say on that. Responsibility, where does it ultimately lie? As I just quickly read the super chat, which isn't popping up. Brilliant. Sorry, we're having a fault here. None of them are working. So let's go straight to you. Where does the blame ultimately lie? But I'm not going to ask about Arsenal now. Today's performance, ultimately, where does it lie?
Today it still lies with Stan Kroenke. And people can say, it's Arteta, and I get that it is. People can say it's Edu, and I get that, and it is. And Vinay, and I get that, and it is. But we are at this point now, and we're losing at home to Brentford after finishing 8th twice because of Stan Kroenke. And the most frustrating thing is, like my guy just said there, for example, Arteta has to go and whatnot. The focus is very firmly back on Arteta. We ended the season where the focus was nearly all around Kroenke. It became more Arteta at the end, and now we're starting a season where it's back to the manager. And we talked about where you can't blame fans, and I kind of do, and I say that because this is, it's another example of fans misplacing where the energy needs to be.
Yeah.
How many times are we going to learn? Wenger was, such a big thing for us. He was such a big person to this club. He is a big person to this club. But we had to get past him to open up the rot and see what's happening, and we have been seeing it. And Emery here and there told us, hard truths. He told us I wanted to buy these players, I got these players. He told us we can't buy in January, we can only loan. These were harsh truths we've never heard before.
Yeah.
Wenger protected all of that, and these were the cracks that we needed to see.
Right.
Instead, we went on Emery's neck.
Yeah.
Emery went. Now it's Arteta. These all give managers time. When Emery had left, that was when Xhaka had the captaincy issue. He threw the band. Xhaka's still here because when a new manager comes in, most fans will think it's fair to give that manager a chance with the players.
Yeah.
And he gave Xhaka a chance, and a lot of fans said, okay, I get it, because that's a fair thing to do. But we are always being fair as fans, too fair now. Because as much as that's a fair thing to do, we're not learning because we're back on Arteta. And like I said at the beginning of this mini rant, whatever people
you can understand why we're back on Arteta. Because
you can understand it.
Because listen, I'm with you with the Kroenke thing. I am with you, 100%. But we didn't lose today because...
Of course we did. We're not prepared for the season, James. How can you say we didn't lose today because of the owner?
Because the players out there are still good enough to beat Brentford.
The players out there finished 8th 2 years in a row.
But they're still good enough to beat Brentford.
Why do you think that?
Because why do you not think that?
I predicted 2-2.
Well, no, you did, to be fair.
And because I'm not surprised by this, bro. And none of us should be. This is a full-on ownership problem. But Arteta's the new... Okay, let me ask you something. Let's say I'm a ventriloquist. I've got a puppet here, yeah? And I'm saying... The puppet is saying, James, you're a prick. James, you're a prick. Are you going to fucking punch that, or are you going to punch me? Answer me, please.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Why me, though, when this is the mouthpiece?
Right.
So let's attack the puppet master, not the puppet. Because Wenger's been there.
Yeah.
Out. Emery's been there. Out. Arteta's there now. We're still on him. Are we going to give Kroenke another puppet to pull out the back and put it on? Because it's not going to be Conte.
Fine.
Do you get what I'm saying?
For the bigger picture, yes. But for today, Stan Kroenke didn't call Mikel Arteta and say, do you know what, Mikel? Granit, I think, should wear the armband today. I don't think he knows who Granit Xhaka is. So my point is, I agree with you. At the end of the season, when we finish 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, whatever it might be, I'm being hopeful there. Yes, we'll look at Kroenke and say, whoever, you hire this manager, we weren't prepared, this, that and that. But ultimately, today, we had two centre-backs in Ben White and Pablo Mari, Arteta's signings. He brought them in. White, expensive. So Kroenke's given him what he wanted there. Right? Callum Chambers started over the right back he signed. Lokonga, he signed under with Kroenke, a £20 million midfielder. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's.
But then the alternative is if another manager's in here with these same players, he might not play Chambers, he might play Bellerin. He might not play Bellerin, he might play Cedric. He might not play Cedric, he might play Maitland-Niles. It doesn't really change the result. And the captaincy thing, I'm vexed with that. I'm vexed with that. But does it change the course of the game today? Even though I wanted Tierney to be captain, I still don't believe it changes the course of the game. We were still really, in for it. They gave us a physical battle. The captaincy doesn't really change that today because the quality is poor. So even if, we don't have that person playing, the next person in is not great either. So as much as Arteta's a big part of the problem, and he's made me sick with some of the things he's said over the last 3-4 months towards the end of last season. Some of the quotes he's come out with essentially make him puppet without a shadow of a doubt here. And he is part of the problem. But James, if we now sack Arteta, which is definitely going to happen before Kroenke sells up, we sack Arteta without a doubt, we're going to have a new lease of life. We're going to be hopeful about the next manager for a few weeks.
Of course we are.
When the new manager comes in, whoever it is, because we've already seen with Arteta, who wasn't a manager, he came in and we gave him backing. So whoever the next manager is, we'll get some backing. Because as an Arsenal fan base, we'll
demand it as well. And
that gives these players another year, maybe 2 years to prove themselves under a new manager. But to us,
which was one of the reasons I wanted to keep Arteta, because I thought he would, know to move them on. But look, Turkish, we're going to get Lee in just for the final word. Thank you so much for joining me. We're going to take some super chats just while Lee gets ready. Super chat from Rocket says, wow, All or Nothing on Amazon will be interesting. Yeah, too damn right it will. I don't think we're going to enjoy it. John with the super chat says, guys, how would you feel about playing White as the right back? I don't want 50 million on a right back who's just another centre back and gone right back. He says, if we're thinking about playing Chambers then surely White's quicker and Cross is better. Yes, he does. John, I get what you're saying. Of course he's better right back than Chambers, but still isn't the solution. Welcome, Lee. I'm just going to have a little word to the producers, see if we do have any more clips to show. Not sure, but in the meantime, Lee, good hour and a bit since the end of the game. Having expected that, because you did.
Yeah.
So did Turkish. So did a lot of people. I went in with a lot of hope. Thinking, wow, new season and listen. And the pre-season performances were shoddy. But you're always hopeful that, though, maybe against Brentford, who aren't quite as good as Chelsea or Spurs, maybe it will click and come together. Are you ultimately just numb to it all?
Well, no, not numb, because I'm still hurting, because ultimately I want my team to win football games, and I'm hurting because of it, But I'm getting used to it, James.
No, that's why I asked, because
I'm getting used to it. But what I see today was a team that's clueless. I see a manager that don't know what he's doing. I see a manager from another team with players that are not as good as ours. This be truthful.
No, absolutely.
Playing a system that they're all happy to play in and getting the best out of his players from that system. I watch Arsenal, and it don't matter what players he puts in there, they're not producing. Last week, I know it was only a pre-season friendly, but I watched Aubameyang and I watched Lacazette play exactly the same way as what I see Martinelli and Balogun do today. We play the ball. We get. I don't know the stats of it all, but I imagine that we had the majority of the ball today, without
65% possession.
65%.
22 shots, 4 of them on target.
Yeah.
4 out of 22.
And no real clear-cut chances. No creative. No one-on-ones. No what I would say structure to break down a team. I watched them today, Brentford. They've looked at Arsenal, pinpointed our weaknesses and exposed them. I don't see Mikel Arteta ever doing it. It's the same way. It doesn't work, and then he'll blame something else. Last week he blamed it on he made substitutions, but ultimately for 70 minutes it was the same as what I've been seeing for the last season. We finished 8th last season. They've had a window now, a window of opportunity, as I call it, to change things around. They've not changed it around. It's the complete same thing. Do you change all the players? No. So there's only one thing you have to do, and that's change the manager. Change it, and change it now.
Yeah, I think I completely echo all that. I thought he was very lucky to survive after Villarreal. But I tried to look at the positives of that. You know what? At least this is a guy who is going to finally get his own players, and maybe he's going to know not to give these other guys a second chance or whatever. But here we are, same stuff again. I asked if you were going numb because I'll never stop loving Arsenal Football Club. I'll never love it any less. It hurts, but I'll never, get to a point where suddenly I don't love this football club. But there's a great weekend of football to come. The Premier League's back.
Not for us.
No, but that's my point. We should be enjoying it. But Man United Leeds, what a great tie. Spurs face Man City. And I feel like I can't enjoy any of it.
No, and that's why when people say to me, you're looking forward to the season, I'm not looking forward to the season because this is what you're going to get. You're going to get this from Arsenal. And then, as you quite rightly say, you're not going to enjoy the weekend because, you know... Look, listen, when Arsenal lose, I don't watch match of the day. I won't, I'm watching 10 match of the days or 12 match of the days now. I used to watch a lot, But ultimately, it's not just about, James, it's not just about winning and losing games of football. I've supported Arsenal when they've been rubbish, you know what I mean, and that. And I've supported Arsenal, but this is not the football club that I fell in love with. It's not the club that I wanted to support when I was growing up, or even like in my younger years, we're going around the country. What I'm seeing now is a completely different Arsenal. I'm watching an Arsenal team today I don't even recognise through kits. That ain't Arsenal Football Club. It's a business. It's commercial, and I get all of that. But I'm falling out of. You say you're falling out. I'm falling out of love with this football club. I really am, and it's nothing to do with us not winning games and all that. But please understand that it's about what's going on the field, being taken for us fans are being taken the piss out of.
Yeah,
we've just gone through a pandemic and everything like that, and they're now saying to us, right, all through that pandemic they brought out all training kits and all things like that to get us to spend, which I understand that, you know what I mean, it's your choice. But ultimately, they bring out all these kits, and they brought out 3 new kits, asking you to pay £100 for it. For families, they've got to be doing that 3 times because you know what it's like. The old kit of last season is no good for the kids of today. Asking them to do that, and then what you're seeing is a team going out there and not being coached right. James, not being managed right from the top, not managed from and then more importantly, not even being cared about.
Yeah.
And if it was cared about, if you was a owner, and I get what people are saying about money. I'm not going to criticise him on the money side of things because at the end of the day, as you just quite rightly said just 5 minutes ago, Ben White 50 million. You know what I mean? Gabriel last season was a decent signing. Tierney was 25 million. Our front line of players is 72 million, 75 million Pepe, 50 odd million Lacazette, 60 odd million Aubameyang.
Yeah.
Right. So don't tell me, can Brentford afford players like that? No. Right. So is Tony better than those players? What you've got is a manager getting the best out of those players, and what I'm watching and what I'm seeing is a manager playing a system that doesn't suit our players, continually playing it, and we're not getting the rewards for it. So you do either 2 things, James. You either change it and bring in a system that's going to suit these players, or you continue going this way and you get sacked. And for me now, I've seen enough.
Yeah,
I've seen enough.
I used to think Arteta's philosophy and style of football was one that would work with the right players, but actually the more I think about it, I'm not sure. It doesn't matter who you've got. I don't know what it is he's really trying to do.
It can work if you bring in 2 new midfield players, a Basuma at the back in the midfield, bring in new forwards, bring in a top class striker. Like what you've got at Manchester City. You had an Aguero in his prime. It would work.
Riyad Mahrez, players who make things happen.
It would work. But ultimately, he hasn't got. We can't have those players. So get a manager in them play. Now listen, Arsene Wenger wouldn't have been able to manage the Jules Graham side of players. Jules Graham wouldn't be able to manage the Arsene Wenger side. But what they've done was Jules Graham got the best out of his side with the way he wanted to play football. Arsene Wenger done the same.
Yeah.
But this manager is not doing it. And I've watched today, and I'm sorry, I've watched a manager of a championship side last season outclassed tactically our wonderful manager. I'm afraid I'm not going to be blaming it's pre-season, or blaming that he's got players injured, or blaming the owner. The owner does not pick that team. He does not.
I'm not blaming the
system.
players anymore.
No, the players. Look, it was a completely different players to last week. And it was exactly the same performance. Let's get that right. Forget his pre-season. It was exactly the same performance. I see it last week, and I said, if things don't change, we're in trouble. Right, let's change the players. I was excited to see the players change, but I tell you what, it emphasises to me today that it ain't Aubameyang that's at fault. It's not Lacazette that's at fault, and it's not Pepe that's at fault. It's the manager and the way he is playing the players and getting them sorted out, and that's what he's doing. And
I couldn't agree more. And look, I hate to do the whole "I told you so" kind of thing, but we were here on this very set on the build-up. Me and Cecil, we knew Aubameyang wasn't starting, but we wanted to talk about his form. And you look at the amount of shots he had compared to last season, and his kind of average positions and all that, and it tells you that players are being coached into the wrong positions, weird positions, being asked to do things that doesn't come naturally to them. And I saw that again tonight.
I was listening to what a caller said, and he had it spot on. I don't know who he was now. Said he was spot on. We get into positions, and what we do is we wait for our fullbacks to come into play, and then put the ball across. One, our reliability of the crossing is not great, right? That's one thing, But ultimately, we're putting in crosses to what is probably the weakest part of our game. So where is the philosophy in that?
I couldn't agree more.
You know what I mean? So you're building it all up. Tierney comes across, he put in about, I'd say 8 crosses today, 2 were decent. No one on the end of them. There was one that Chambers put on, was a fantastic cross. And there's no one in the box, James. So we've done all that intricate play, risking conceding goals because we're playing out through the back, get it to the final third, wait for the fullbacks to overlap. Put a cross in and no one's in there. It was a great point, and you know what? It goes just beyond just that. Sometimes it's simple things. Is that Kroenke's fault?
No, I agree. No, I agree. I agree. The bigger picture is down to the owner, but today there's other things. And yes, I'm looking at Arteta. I'll give you another really good example. Where did Pepe play some of his best football last season? On the left wing. Where did Saka play some of his best football last season? On the right wing. What happens if Saka plays on? He's hugging the left, and what does he want to do? He wants to run at players in the same way Kieran Tierney does. So you've got 2 players trying to do the exact same thing, and you've had Pepe for 60 minutes. It's not really happening for him on the right. Mix it up. But we haven't got a manager who's got that ability to really move away from his plan A. He should have just gone, bring Saka on, alright, it's not worked for 10-15 minutes, switch it again, and get the Brentford players thinking something different all the time, but we didn't.
We don't do that, and when we bring on substitutions today, we've gone into a false 9 with a goal down. It's just the things are not right, and
Reece Nelson, who barely got a look in pre-season,
is now getting
coming on to try to win us again.
Window, which is supposed to make us stronger.
Yeah, right. We've got some clips to go through. Guys, thank you so much for sending your videos in. We'll be wrapping up the stream soon. It's been a long day and a long night. Thank you, Arsenal. Let's hear what you guys have had to say.
Let's be honest, if you're telling me as an Arsenal football fan you're surprised with this club, then you're an idiot. Simple as that, because how can you be surprised with this shit that we watch every single year? Get rid of all of them. Seriously, get rid of the manager, get rid of Edu, get rid of every single person that's in charge of Arsenal Football Club, because they are taking the piss. Taking the piss ain't even got a shit on you guys anymore. Taking the piss is thinking, nah man, they are taking the piss. I'm done. Fuck it. Let's wait for another season.
Yes, I get his point. You can't be surprised, but you can still be disappointed. I'm not surprised, but I'm still so let down by what I saw.
He makes a great point there, and I'll tell you the point he does is because a lot of people have been saying it, Arsenal this, Arsenal that, and as soon as you say anything bad, you're negative, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, wait till the season starts, and you don't want to be in that position where you go, yeah, look, this is what's happened. But everybody that's seeing that, James, and that's the thing, and it's not that people don't want to see it. There's a lot of people that want to believe that Arsenal still are
who they used to be.
Yeah, and I get that, and there's nothing wrong in that. There's nothing wrong in that if you want to believe everything. But ultimately, I'm not like that. I see it as it is, and I see a team and a club that is let's be honest, is mediocre.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's nothing more than a mediocre side with a mediocre manager. Now, I've seen mediocre sides with a good manager, like without being disrespectful to West Ham, get into top 6 because they've got an experienced manager getting the best out of every single player. What player can you turn around and say, and I'll ask you this, like, you know, is Mikel getting the very, very best out of? I'll leave it to you. I'll get me pillar and I'll come back tomorrow.
Got more clips. Let's hear what you had to say.
Boy, guys, I hope you're generally well, man, because Arsenal wasn't going to help you, man. It's the same old. Naive defending, can't break down a team, and bearing in mind we're playing against a newly promoted team. It's a shambles, man. Transfer market, the decision making in that, shambles, man. Absolute shambles. We knew the areas that we need addressing, but yet we got a centre back. How did 50 million Ben White help us today? You have to laugh. As James will say, you have to laugh or you cry.
Yeah, he gets it. You have to laugh.
Oh well, I won't. I don't think it's funny. Like, you know what I mean. But I wouldn't.
Really?
No.
Oh, they've been cheering me up. To be fair, he should have been here the whole
Do
show.
you know what I mean? Like, but he's right. What he's saying. What is the £50 million on Ben White? Which is, I'm not having a go at Ben White. We've never had a go at Ben White.
Never.
What is he done that's going to make us from? I've said this before. From a 8th team to a 4th. He's not. He might get a 7th.
Yeah.
But that's about it. He ain't going to get us anywhere else. We need someone in midfield that's going to make. You know, when we was on top in that first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but we couldn't break them down, and then we run out of ideas.
Yeah.
The reason we run out of ideas is because we haven't got anybody that can make ideas, make things happen for us.
Yeah.
There's a difference. You know what I mean? Smith Rowe today was brilliant, but he's nowhere near the finished article.
No, I completely agree. He needs help.
He's a good player, but he's nowhere. You know, and if he was the finished article at 19, 20 or 21 or whatever he is, right? Then at 16, 17, 18, he should have been in the Arsenal side then.
Yeah.
But he wasn't. And the reason was because he's not good enough.
Yeah.
But he's learning his game, learning his trade. He's now a very, very good player. But ultimately, would he get into a championship winning side? No, he wouldn't. He'd be in the squad. You know what I mean? Like, he's not as good as Foden.
Yeah.
At this moment in time, Foden doesn't get into it. But you know, if Foden was at Arsenal, we'd be relying on him to be the one to take us to the promised land.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
Yeah.
It's not fair on a kid.
It's irresponsible as well as a club.
It's irresponsible for the manager. It's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, we're all here watching it. As soon as Saka come on, like, you know, we're all going, oh great, but he's 19 years of age, James.
Yeah. Just before we go to this next clip, I've got a comment here from Andrew. Now listen, I know I just said if you don't laugh you'll cry. That's just my defence mechanism.
Of course, I get that.
He's put here, forget your tactics, James. You are too young to understand what Arsenal's all about. Big up Lee in Turkish. I'll agree with one bit. Big up Lee in Turkish. And normally I kind of laugh with kind of criticism and banter on chats or whatever. But one thing I'll say is it doesn't matter if you've been an Arsenal fan 2 years, 50 years, 80 years, whatever. You're as much a fan as anyone else. And it's one thing because there's a lot of young content creators out there on YouTube. I can name a lot of them who are fantastic at what they do. And the thing that gets levelled at them is, yeah, well, you know, you set the standards for this club. You don't know what it was like when we were winning, all that. I've seen some great Arsenal sides, even though I'm young. I've seen some great Arsenal sides. I don't accept what we're seeing today as much as anyone else. And I just want to put that out there because I love Lee to pieces. I love Turkish. I love Robbie. All these guys who they've seen Arsenal at the top. Right? Yeah. Okay. I can't remember Arsenal at the very top. I've seen some great Arsenal sides, but that kind of stuff really winds me up, and I just want to nip that in the bud before it kind of becomes a really stupid narrative that somehow this is the young fans' fault or something like that.
Totally agree, and it ain't. It's, you know, listen. Every fan supports their club how they want to support it, and some can't go to games, some can't for logical reasons, for financial reasons, whatever. It doesn't mean to say that they're a better fan than that person, and it doesn't mean that I'm a better fan because I've gone through everything like that, you know. And let's get something straight. When I first started supporting Arsenal, I never ever thought we'd win the league. Never ever thought we was never challenging for the league and all that. George Graham come in and he changed that. You know what I mean? Arsene Wenger done it a thing. So it's not about winning leagues and all that, like, because I've done this and been at Highbury, like, and that, you know what I mean? Listen, the younger fans are probably more important than fans like me, because they're going to be here a lot longer than me, and that is the truth, you know. And the young fans will keep Arsenal Football Club going. And do you know what, James? Once upon a time, I was a young fan.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
still
So, yeah, that's it, like, you know. And I used to go with my dad and what, you know, admire all the older people that watch the games and all that, like, and listen to what they were saying and educate myself from that point of view. And do you know what? You educate yourself from more experienced fans that are going, and that's what you do. And you know, there shouldn't be a thing on that. And listen, no one is happy with today's performance. Let's be honest, no one's happy with that. No one wants to see Arsenal lose.
No.
If you're an Arsenal fan, of course you don't, like, you know. But I think you're always going to lose games of football, but there's a way to lose games, and you know, and it still hurts. But you know what I mean? Like, I remember going to Anfield once. Patrick Vieira scored. We played in all blue. We was all over them. Played really, really well, and they scored with a wonder goal in the last kick of the game. I can't even think of the fella that scored. They hardly played for Liverpool afterwards. We lost 2-1, and I was gutted, absolutely gutted. You know, that we'd lost and all that. But coming home, you could take the consolation. Do you know what? Bloody good game. The North played well. We was unlucky. You know what I mean? Like, last minute goal was hard to take, but you thought, do you know what? Next game we'll bounce back and win. You felt that. I'm going into the game now. We lost today. Well, you don't know what you're going to get against Chelsea. Look, you know, we could go and beat Chelsea. I'm not saying we couldn't, but ultimately, you know, you think you're going to lose. But that was it. You know what I mean? Like, there was a way to lose games of football, and we're not doing that now. That was. I've seen us today outclassed, outplayed, bullied.
Yeah.
All the things you don't want to see, James.
Yeah, there was nothing we did better than Brentford. Guys, let's go to the very final clip. I'm just hearing not the final clip. Well, let's play this next clip and see what you guys are saying.
Hello AFTV, big up from Russia. You know, the most stupid thing about Arteta is that he keeps telling us I have to work with the players I got. Well, clearly you didn't work with them all summer. There was no game plan on the pitch. This is the most boring football I have ever seen.
Yeah.
That's from Russia. Brilliant. From
Absolutely nailed it.
From Russia with love. You know what I mean? Exactly.
When did we find out it was Brentford away first game? 2 months ago?
I don't care whether. What? So what?
Well, no, but my point is, right, it's... You can maybe make an excuse for other things, but it's Brentford first game of the season, and as you said, we didn't have anything from a tactical perspective that suggested we knew how to get one up on them.
He's actually just turned around, that fella, and said it. He nailed it from Russia. He's actually nailed it. I've got to do what I've got to do with these players. Well, okay, right, I'll go get it. Well, then sort it out. You've had all summer, you've had 18 months, and still nothing's really improved. And that is the key thing to it to me. And the other thing is today, I'm fed up, James. I'm going to say this now. I'm fed up with people turning around and going, "Oh, it was a tough game because it was Brentford's first game in the Premier League. It was their first one. They had fans and everything like that." Well, we're playing at home at the Emirates for the first time in 18 months. But I tell you what, Chelsea are still favourites. You know what I mean? Like, so it doesn't matter that whole Emirates crowd and 60,000 of us are there. It's got nothing to do with that. It's about the 11 players on the pitch.
Yeah, agreed. Right. We're going to go into... Cess was jumping in.
Apologies to crash this full-time show, but there's one last clip that we're just going to play, and we're going to just get our reactions of this last clip that I got received on the phone today, the AFTV phone. So we can play the clip.
Right. What an embarrassment. You're going to get beaten by us. You've been beaten by Brentford. You may as well go down now. You've got no hope. It's all the fans. None of you can believe. Arteta's a dodgy manager. Loser.
They got relegated 3 months ago, and they're bantering us. Fair play,
Fair
man.
enough. And he could, listen, I've said it all along. We play Chelsea next.
Yeah.
And then we play...
Man City away.
No, we played West Brom, didn't we?
Do you know
I think it's West Brom.
I didn't even process the cup tie.
And it's West Brom, and then it's and then it's Man City.
There you go.
So I honestly think if we lose to Chelsea and we lose to West Brom, that's it. That, you know, Man City, we go up there with a new, you know. I'll tell you what, take him up there, Arteta. You can stay there and coach with with Pep.
Ask for your job back.
Ask for your job back because he'd be gone.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, this now, and you know, I'm not going to leave it on a bad note. If we are 2-0 down at half time against Chelsea, you watch the fans turn.
No, I completely agree with you. This is the first time since this shambles. I know we had the friendly against Chelsea in the Mind series, but that was different, friendly, and it's for charity and all that. But this could be different. Now, we did have some super chats. James with the super chat said, watching this game actually makes me terrified for the next two. We need an elite signing, not a David Luiz replacement, which won't change anything. And you know what? I suppose this is a positive, so let's end on it. Vindex says, Arsenal are going to do an Arsenal and beat Chelsea.
Well, listen, I remember the doom and gloom of playing Chelsea last season on Boxing Day. You know what I mean?
And we smacked them up.
So you never know in football. And
that's the beauty of the game, eh?
What you know, if you're a real a realist, you ain't putting no money on it.
No, agreed. Right, Lee, thank you so much for joining me.
I really enjoyed that. Thank you very much.
Guys, the comment section, it's been a mixed bag. Some of you clearly very angry. Some of you clearly just here to just vent and get it all out, and I understand that. Thank you so much for sending your videos in. It's been great to hear what you guys think from all around the world. It was just, you know what, like, Arsenal are tragic at the moment, but what a way to just be reminded as fans all around the world what a massive football club we are, and what a responsibility Arteta and Edu and the Cronkies, everyone has to get this football club back to where it belongs. They've still, despite everything, they've still got a chance to try and make it right in what remains in this transfer window, and then it's all eyes on Arteta again, if it's not now anyway. Thanks so much for joining. Hit the like and subscribe button. We'll be back on Monday with a tactical insight show, bias Premier League, all that, and we're going to have more stuff coming out through the weekend. Fan cams are coming out now as well. It's been long, it's been therapeutic. Thank you, Lee, thank you, Pippa, thank you, Turkish, everyone who joined. Well done, Cecil, and the fan cams. Thank you, Brennan, everyone. We will see you next time.